Hey everyone, it's Andrea Robinson.
And Chris Peach, we're back.
Money, Sex, and Kids, we're at it again. And of course, we want money to not be the biggest fight and stress of your life. And we really want sex to be
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And of course, we want to make sure our kids turn out to be decent humans. And we're still working on that whole parenting thing. But we want to do it all, and we want to do it all with you guys.
Today, I'm excited because we get to talk about my first, second, and third favorite thing in life.
In no particular order.
In no particular order, and that is sex. All right, that is sex. Now, I feel like, for the longest time, I thought that, am I the only one that feels this way? But I think it's pretty common. I think it's very common that every guy feels that way.
I was going to say, not everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's great, but it's not like what I wake up thinking about every day.
Yeah, so I want you to share with everybody what we tried doing and what kind of happened here, because I think it's better to hear it from her than from me.
So there's a lot of things out there you try for 30 days, like a diet, Whole30, everybody does that, right? So we tried sex for 30 days.
In a row.
You know what 30 days is? That's 1 month, every single day, 7 days a week.
So this was, I feel like it was a joint effort idea.
It wasn't a joint effort.
Okay, so it's definitely my idea.
It was your idea.
Okay, so kind of a backstory here is I was at a basketball game. We were watching the Suns, and I was with some friends, and we're talking, and she was over on the side not talking, and so we're kind of joking around with my buddy, and he mentioned something. He's like, I could go 30 days having sex, and I was like, really? You can? And his wife was standing there, and she goes, no, you couldn't. And he goes, absolutely I could, right? Because he's this guy. He's like, absolutely I could. She goes, you couldn't do it. So he goes, you couldn't do it. And she goes, yes, I could. So the four guys, imagine us, were sitting there, and we're like, oh my goodness. We're like, I would like to see this challenge happen.
Yeah.
She goes, fine. So as witnesses, she shook on it, and she told all of us, she's like, yeah, no problem. I could do that for 30 days. And long story short, they did it, right?
They did it.
They did it.
30 days,
now,
people.
We don't necessarily have proof, right? We're just going on their word because we weren't in the bedroom.
Of
we're
course
watching.
not, and I don't want that kind of
I don't want to
proof.
watch either. That's not our thing.
No.
Yeah, that came out kind of weird.
That was like,
wow, that was aggressive.
Never
Sorry.
Let's
rewind that.
Yeah, it's never our thing.
We might cut that out.
No, it's
okay,
not.
so anyway, going back to it though, so I came up to her.
So he comes to me with this proposition.
This is the next day, come home.
Yeah, and he tells me about our friends. Well, I'm not telling you their names. So they're doing that, and I'm like, okay. So I wanted him to have a point to this because I am not buying into this at all right now, but he knows how to get me.
Yeah.
And what'd you say?
Goal setting. So one thing about Andrea is if you tell her she can't do something, it's on, right? So I just approached her and I said, our friends are doing this, and I think it's pretty cool. I would like to do it. I don't think you can.
He said he didn't think I could do it. So guess what? I'm like, all right, okay, watch me now.
Yeah, it was like right now, right here, day one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, fine. You think I can't do it? I can do this. So I did it, and I did it.
Well, no, back up. You committed to doing it.
Okay, I committed to doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I committed to doing it, and I did 13 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Then after 13 days. Yeah, because then that doesn't work if it's just
days.
me.
Yeah.
I did.
Wow, that's going deep. You're going deep with this. Wow.
Okay, 13 days. We did it after I made the commitment to him, and we did it, and I just didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite 30-day challenge. I'm just going to tell you.
And that hurt my feelings.
It hurt his feelings.
Because
but it had nothing to do with him.
Like I was just rocking and rolling. And,
no.
Trying new things and doing
He
good
was.
things.
It was a me problem. I can't do that many days in a row.
So I think just like anything, you don't run into a marathon. You need to do maybe like a 5K for a couple times.
Yeah, I think we should have done some smaller goal setting.
Like 7-day challenge.
Yeah, or like a 10-day challenge.
Yeah.
We would have rocked that because we did 13.
Yes.
We did have extra credit with 13 days.
It was cool.
But I think there was a huge eye-opening moment to all of this. Is it got us excited about something.
Yes.
again, life caught up with us, and 13 days in, and we were tired and exhausted, and it just felt like another thing.
Well, how many?
That was the problem. It felt like another thing.
How many people out there have, they have a couple kids, and they have a job, and they have their friends, and they have, school homework to help with, and cooking, and, paying bills, and you have all these things going on. And I think it's just so easy to just kind of say like, and you start putting sex off, and the first week you get married, it's like, oh my gosh, sex is really 7 days a week. This is amazing.
This is what life will be like forever.
It's like. And then the next year it's like, okay, now we're down to twice a week. And so one of the fun things when we were putting this episode together, I was like, hey, I would like you, and she did, to like research as much as you can about sex in America and what's going on. It's just kind of see where we fall.
Okay.
I feel like we're doing okay, but we're going to go through these numbers.
I think when you hear some of this, you will feel like you're doing okay as well. And then we'll wrap it all up. There's going to be a point to all of this. So, okay, we set this goal. We all love goals. We love to set a goal and then exceed a goal, and we didn't meet this goal at all. That was okay. But I wanted to know, like, okay, so we're like every average, normal American, I thought, having sex a few times a week, maybe, right?
Yes.
3 or 4. Well, according to a study that was just published just in 2017 in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, the average adult, so person, has sex 54 times a year. So that's about once a week. So right there, I thought, okay, feeling okay about this, even though I didn't, do very well with this challenge.
I truly thought that people were having sex 5 days a week.
Yeah.
This is just I was thinking like everybody out there is having sex 5 days a week. We should be doing 5.
So here we are comparing ourselves to all these other people out there. We're thinking next door neighbors, they're doing it 5 days a week.
Yeah.
No,
we can
actually,
hear that. No, we can't.
No.
Yeah.
And
what
no,
is that noise? Yeah.
No, actually, most Americans are having sex once a week.
Once a week.
So,
okay. I personally think that's too low.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
And and this was interesting too, I will say, because in the 90s, Americans were having way more sex than we are now. So who knows what it can be? It could probably be lifestyle.
No, I know what it is. It's the music. In the 90s, no, if you listen to like 90s and we go back,
90s rap.
We do some 90s rap, or we go to like Counting Crows and we do stuff like that. I mean, that is sexual music, right? So
it gets you going.
It gets you going. So I can see that a lot of this, the decrease in sex was punk rock. That's what it was.
Yeah, and the music today just sucks.
When punk rock came out, sex, no, I'm just kidding. But I truly believe that, in the 90s, and then you got to remember, in the 90s, social media wasn't around. So I think a lot of people are like, they're very cautious about any kind of sexual behavior because that stuff can go on Instagram like in an hour. Right?
Yeah.
Or like in a minute, right?
Yeah.
So I think just back then, I feel like it was just a little bit easier to have.
You just didn't have.
There was no
many
YouTube channels talking about sex like we are. I can tell you that much.
That's for sure.
So,
yeah. Okay. Also, what's the ideal frequency? So like, what do people strive for? What do they want? I mean, that study just said this is what is happening.
Yes.
So this was another one that found that in 2015, it was a study done, found that the general well-being is associated with sexual frequency. So just general feeling good, but only up to a certain point. So basically they said, if you're having too much, I don't know if there is such thing as too much sex in his mind, but in mine, yeah.
Our mind.
If you're having too much, it really does nothing for your well-being. It almost does the opposite. But if you have, just the right amount, it really does increase that. So that was kind of interesting to me because you, a lot of times in this day and age, think the more the better. And really, it's just a nice kind of even pace is better.
I just came up with an analogy in my head. I'd like to share it.
Okay.
Okay. So you just said, like too much is probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I look back into it and it's like, you and I will have like a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Right? And we have a glass of wine and we watch a movie, we go to bed, we wake up, we're fine.
Yeah.
Right? But then sometimes we'll go out with some friends, we Uber of course, and we'll have like, multiple glasses of wine. And I wake up and I'm like, I feel like crap.
Why did we do that?
I'm never doing that again. I feel awful. Right?
Yeah.
And so there you go. That's an analogy right there. Sometimes like a glass or two is good.
Is good, but too much? Too much of anything.
Too much of anything can be a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and I think everybody can relate to that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we kind of know the average amount that people are doing it. And the frequency, again, it has to be consistent with what is right for your lifestyle based on just a lot of what experts out there say. But we all know, and we have heard, it can improve a lot of things in your life. Number one, everything that I looked up, happiness is the number one thing. Well, of course, like that's kind of a given, I think. You feel happy, you feel connected when
Well,
you're in that moment together.
When you are having sex with your spouse,
Yes.
or whoever you're really close with, not some random, right? When you're when you're having sex with your spouse, everybody's happy, right?
Well, yeah.
Everybody's really,
Yeah,
really
let's
happy.
keep it within the
Yeah.
spouse.
So yeah,
arena.
money, sex, and
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
obviously. But like,
Yeah.
when you're having sex with your spouse, like we've gone from like, you know, just we've gone for some fights before, and then it's like, you know, we'll have sex, and all of a sudden I'm like,
I love her
I love
again.
her. I'm like, what do you need me to do? Should I go take the trash out right now, or
Should I go mow the lawn
mow
right
the
now?
lawn, or what would you like
Yeah.
me to do? Because I feel like,
I'm so happy.
yeah, I feel really good about myself right now.
Well, then that goes into the next thing. It's a major stress relief.
Huge stress reliever.
And it's like your body's natural way to relieve stress. So, you know, oftentimes people do. They maybe drink too much or they take things that they shouldn't to try to relieve stress. Well, if you're married, your stress relief is right there. Even though, I know, ladies, I know, they are the source of stress sometimes, right? Like sometimes we annoy each other. And I'm the source of your stress.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah,
Like, see,
yeah,
even
yeah,
back and
yeah,
forth.
okay.
I'm being good right here.
You're doing great.
But, you know, so many, you know, the studies and doctors and, you know, your body makes cortisol and your body, you know, secretes adrenaline. And when we're in a stressful, heightened, stressed environment, those things can be leveled and sort of soothed by
So I just
sex.
came up with another thing in my mind.
Okay.
It popped in my mind again.
Okay.
I want to share it with you. So I've said this before, but you know, the number one stress in a marriage is money.
Yeah.
Right? It's the number one stress. And I've also said that, you know, we found out that when sex is good, that stress with money
Yeah.
goes away. So if you want your money problems to kind of ease up for a little bit, have more sex.
Yeah.
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 You know, don't go to the bottle. Don't go and do you know, any of those other things. Sex.
Yeah.
It is
With your
a
spouse.
huge stress reliever.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get addicted to something, get addicted to your wife and have sex with her as much as possible.
date her, have sex with her,
Yeah.
for sure.
As much as she'll allow.
Okay, so stress relief, again, it lowers the cortisol and adrenaline in your body, and you just feel good. So after, I mean, given, right?
Remember those
Okay.
commercials where they used to show like cortisol and the person was like blue and red,
Yeah.
and then the cortisol would like leak out and the person would get skinny?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah. It's like the same thing.
That's the thing
Yeah.
in your body.
Yeah.
Mood, obviously, it's a good mood enhancer. And again, many studies out there that I had read over. It says during sex, our brain releases feel-good endorphins. It reduces depression and irritability. And of course, you have heard of the drug oxytocin. It's also referred to as the hug drug because it makes you feel happy. And when you have sex, that is in your body and that is released and you feel good. So your mood naturally gets better. Also,
Can I share something with
Yeah.
you real quick? Something that you don't know that I was doing, and it goes along with this what you just said right there. So, I'm like a numbers guy, data analytics type guy. I like to look at things and figure out the numbers. So I actually did this with you. You don't know this. So I created an Evernote file, and I called it the Better Husband Project. And so every week I would look at three things. One was, did I do a random act of kindness, right?
Yeah.
One was, how many times do we have sex? And then how many times did I say like I love you, right?
Yeah.
So those were and I would say, okay, I had a goal. So my goal was 3 days of sex a week. It was one random act of kindness, and then it was saying I love you at least twice every day.
Okay.
And I would go in my Evernote at the end of that every day. I would check mark if I did this.
He's such
This
a
is me.
nerd. It's a nerd.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I started looking, and then at the end of every
nerd.
week, I would put in there, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did our week go as far as our marriage? You know, 10 being obviously the best, 1 being like we were on different pages. And correlating here is one of the things, and I'll show you in this Evernote file. If we had sex 3 days a week, it was almost always a 10.
Okay.
Maybe that was just in my mind, but I felt like things were going really well.
Yeah.
And so going back to like happiness and mood, you know, I feel like things were just really good. You know, we all get moody, but there was no mood
But
swings. Yeah.
the sex happened because my love language is words of affirmation
Yes.
and random acts of kindness.
Yeah.
So you met those two things. So the end goal
Yes.
for you was met, which was sex.
It's like 2 + 2 = 4.
4.
It's super easy math. Like,
Yeah,
why didn't I think of this?
Easy math. It's just
Yeah.
executing
Yes.
it. Improved self-image. Yes. All the yes on that.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
And this is going to be maybe TMI, you know? So I'm sorry if I'm throwing this out there. But we've been married how long?
11 years.
11 years.
Almost
and
11.
And I know how long we're married.
Almost.
I'm saying for
Yeah,
them.
okay.
So they don't know. So we've been married 11
don't
years.
think you
We have a
really
2-story
remembered.
house. And so I could be downstairs in the office working. If I hear the shower turn on,
Oh, yeah.
I stop whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
I run upstairs and I like to,
Yeah,
I like to look, hey, I
he's a
see you.
peeker. He's a peeker.
I'm a peeker. And, but I think that does good for your self-image because after all these years of marriage, it's like, I
He
still,
does still like to look at me.
I'm
but
like in 8th grade. I
sometimes-
feel like I'm in 8th grade
No,
here.
you're 12.
Or,
not even
or
8th
6th
grade.
whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I remember as soon as I hear the shower turn on, I'm like a dog with a doorbell rings,
I
right?
know.
Like I stop, look around, and I just run upstairs and I need to see what's going on up there. I know what's going on.
Yeah,
I have to
you
see
just
it
have to see it.
to visualize it.
But
Yes.
when your partner feels the need to run up and stare at you when you're in the shower, which
Yeah,
is
well,
weird
stare
and
is
awkward.
it's kind of, I would say,
That's
just like
aggressive.
a peek.
That's aggressive.
Yeah, a peek,
Yeah, a
yes.
peek. Okay, that's weird though.
Yes.
Peeking is weird. Peeping is even weirder.
How about we, instead of calling it peeking or
Okay,
staring,
just
anything
look.
creepy like that, how about it's
Just
just,
look.
I'm doing it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, your self-image.
Yeah, just what I need.
yeah.
So I'm like trying to shave my leg down here.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
give me some damn privacy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm like this sometimes. Like, I see you. Yeah.
But when your partner is into you and makes you feel like you're the
Mm-hmm.
most beautiful thing to ever walk the earth, then of course, like your self-image is better, and that in turn just makes you
Wanna have
more
sex with them.
confident and more confident.
Yes. Yes.
Physical benefits. Now we're talking, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good calorie burn. That means I get to eat a little bit more throughout the day. So for women, did you know 200 calories in 30 minutes? Now, I know. I'm not doing that for 30 minutes some days. Some days, yes, but not all days. No. Not every day is a 30-day sesh. It's just not.
No.
I mean, a 30-minute sesh.
I think what the study is saying, though, and I might be wrong here, but I think what the study is saying is from the point the clothes hit the floor to the point the
To
clothes
the
back
end
on
point.
is 30 minutes.
Oh,
I
not
don't
30.
think it means like,
No,
it's
no.
not like, maybe they do, but.
Because,
Um,
okay,
you know.
regardless.
Because I don't think the average person could do that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably superhumans.
Above average, yes.
There's superhumans out
Yes,
there.
there is,
And
okay.
we're not that.
Yes.
So just
I'm saying
admit
from
it.
the time the clothes hit the floor
Okay.
to the time
Anyway,
the clothes
but it also, again, I think this goes back to improved self-image
Mm-hmm.
and just your mood and everything. It reduces your food cravings. It's weird, right?
Yes.
Like you were fulfilled in a different way. And I don't think that can hurt as a reason why to try a little harder. According to the American Heart Association, sex is equivalent to walking 2 flights of stairs or walking briskly. So that's good too, right? It's
Yes.
all good. When you feel good and you're moving your body, you just feel good.
Yes.
And the movements can tighten and tone your abdominal area and pelvic floor, especially for women. And if you've had babies, that's just a little looser.
Wow. Loose, wow.
No, I mean like it's just like you like
Okay. Well, we have to change the rating on this show now. Yeah.
no, like after you have a baby,
Oh,
I've
okay.
told you
Yeah.
sometimes like jump and you pee and
Yes.
with not wanting to.
Yes.
I don't jump rope at the gym to want to pee
Can I
my
add something to
to
this?
want to pee my
Can I add
pants.
something to this? So girls don't understand this. So they say they have children, and you don't understand what it's like. We have children,
Yeah.
and then sometimes when we jump rope or we run, we pee. And I was like, no, time out. Since I've been standing up going to the bathroom, you always get a little bit on your shorts. And for the longest time, people would be like, you peed your pants. So now it's finally like our turn to be like, oh yeah,
You
we know
peed.
exactly how you feel.
But not really.
Yeah.
It's not really like you know
It's exactly
exactly.
the same. It's exactly the same, actually. Yes.
Sometimes there's not worth even arguing.
Okay,
about
so
that.
all jokes aside,
Okay, no.
why did we fail why couldn't we go 30 days? I mean, we could train for a half marathon and we can run that. We can, pay off $52,000 in debt. But why did we fail going 30 days with sex? Why do you think that was?
I don't know if it was maybe the season in which we were in, or we sort of did something because somebody else was doing it and we wanted to like be like them, which we're human, we all want that. For us, it felt a little bit too mundane and a little bit too task-oriented,
Yes.
and that took the fun out of
Yeah.
sex, because the fun of sex is a little bit of spontaneity, a little bit of like maybe yes, maybe no tonight, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so for us, that part didn't work.
I think part of it is for guys. I mean, we love challenges.
Yeah.
And so, is when you're doing a 30-day challenge to have sex every day, in your mind, like, we're going to have sex today. We're going to have sex today. But when you are not in the challenge, you're just going through normal life, it's kind of like, I want to have sex really bad today. I don't know if she wants to, so now I have to convince her.
Yeah.
So, and there's that challenge, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what am I going to do? Maybe I can go get her some chocolate or flowers or whatever you like. You hate
Yeah.
flowers, but maybe I can get you something or say something. Or guys, I'll tell you what doesn't work. What doesn't work is the naked shower dance going, woo, woo, woo. That doesn't work.
No, that's a major.
I thought that was
no.
like when we first got married.
Like
I'm
slam dunk.
This
No,
is
it's not.
Like, this is what they think
No,
about. Yeah, no,
no.
I was
It's
way off.
actually the farthest
So
thing
I
think
think what
about.
happened was it was like there was no challenge for me anymore, and I was like, yeah, this is.
It
you
just,
know,
it just became another thing.
Another
on
thing,
the,
yeah.
on the day's list of tasks. So we're not saying don't try it. We're not saying don't set a goal. But I think once again, for us, it also opened up communication for us to get back on the same page of what we expect, what we know that we can fulfill, and in turn, that keeps us more connected
Yes.
and closer.
Yep. And so I would say a challenge I have for the viewers is this. Audit your sex. Meaning take a look at, sit down with your husband or your wife, sit down and just say, okay, how many times a week are we actually having sex? You
Yeah.
know? Because it's one of those ones where like, you remember this, you hear the analogy, if you ask a girl how many guys she had sex with in high school, you divide it by 5. Right? But if you ask a guy how many times he had sex, it's like you multiply it by 10.
Yeah.
So if a guy had sex with, one girl, it was, no, I had 10, and a girl that had 25 was 5, or something like that.
Right.
And so, I think if we actually audit and sit down and look at it, guys will be like, we have sex like 8 times a week, and she's like, no, we have sex 8 times a month. And you'll see the difference.
Yeah,
So
and the
audit it.
disconnect.
And the disconnect. And look at that, and then look at that number and say, okay, if you're a guy, I would ask yourself this, is that enough? Is that too much? Am I being overbearing, like sex,
Yeah.
right? But on the side note to this, we've talked about this a lot, is, you always say like, I'm going to do my wife duty. And I'm like, oh, but she understands that, like, look, God made you a certain way.
Yeah.
God made you horny, right? Like, it's in your brain, you have some chemical, and it just drips down. It's like sex, right? So,
Yeah.
yes. So you understand that. And you're like, you always say, to
I'm
me,
not
like,
made
look,
like that.
Look, I'm not made like that, but I'm going to meet you in the middle,
Yeah.
right? And then so for guys, the other way to that is, okay, there's 5 love languages. Go out there and research them. Have your wife take the quiz and find out what's her love language.
In fact, we should put a link to that
We will.
book.
We'll put the
especially.
link to the actual
The
quiz.
test,
Yes.
the quiz, and then there's also a book too.
There's also a book, yeah.
That's kind of an interesting read to read together.
So, for girls, they need to hear that. And I can tell you, if a woman is telling her husband, like, look, like, I'm going to do this, more often than I want to because I know you love it so much.
Yeah.
And a guy's willing to say, look, I know that words of affirmation are yours. Like, I think that, I just don't say it out loud. You need to say it out loud, right? So there's 5 different languages, but that's the challenge we have for you.
Yep. Set a goal, a relationship goal this week, and do the audit and make it a commitment to sort of reassess, your sex life.
And then bonus, if you guys want to try something kind of crazy, kind of fun, don't go 30 days. That's crazy. But maybe try like, this week we're going to have sex 5 days, or 5 times in a week or something like that. And I think what you're going to find is it's not that challenging, but you're still going to have to work at it, right? Because there's going to be those 2 days that you're not going to have sex, right? So it's
and you
not
don't
automatic.
know which days
Yeah, it's
those
not
will be.
automatic,
Yeah.
So,
Keeps you guessing.
And then so yeah. Wow, we just talked about sex.
For like maybe a little too long.
No. No.
But you stuck with us.
Yes.
So there.
So
All right.
so that's all we have for you today. But yeah, big challenges for you to sit down with your spouse, have that sex talk, and I promise you, having that talk is only going to move your marriage forward.
Yep.
All right.
See you soon.